Hello everybody, and today you join me at the Havilland Museum in the glorious Mosquito FB.VI. Very similar to the NF2 cockpit tour we've done in the past, but a few little interesting details. So starting on the left hand side here, the throttle quadrant, these are engine throttle controls and the propeller controls. And on this throttle quadrant, as we didn't have in the NF2, is the rocket projectile button, so we can fire off rockets with that button there. Left hand side generally similar to the NF2 if you've seen that video. We've got the communications plug here, various switches for compasses, electronical use, elevator trim which is controlled with a wheel down to my left hand side on the pilot seat. We have the supercharger switch, so automatic superchargers, and then coming around the front we have our P-type compass, magnetic compass. Engine controls are all the same. We have our landing light controls here, radiator temperatures, oil pressures for engine 1 and engine 2, boost control for each engine, that's controlled with the throttle, so you control boost with throttle, red at the inlet manifold of the engine, and the RPM gauges, they are controlled with the prop controls here, so changing the pitch of the propeller gives you the different RPM. We have our slaved master compass, that's one of the switches on the left side here, and your bearing on the compass. And then the basic 6 instruments, as in all World War II aircraft. We've got airspeed in miles per hour, we've got artificial horizon, our vertical speed indicator, altimeter, directional indicator, gyro compass, turn and slip indicator. Down in the middle, a gas vent for air should you get cold, unlikely I should imagine. Undercarriage indicator, and our flap indicator. So I can't move the stick, the control locks are in, so I'm moving around the stick. Down in the middle, the pilot's oxygen regulator, and below that the pneumatic dials. The brakes are pneumatic on this aircraft, so we've got our pneumatic pressure and then each brake left and right. See, my feet are on the rudder bars, can't move them obviously because the control locks are in, and like all British fighters, the brake is on the stick. This is your brake lever. Squeezing that will apply brakes. With neutral rudder you'd see both the indicators flick up to about 90 to 100 psi if both brakes are braking. If you apply left rudder and squeeze, you'll get the left brake. Apply right rudder and squeeze, get the right brake. So that's all done with the brake handle. Parking brake is available on this airplane, so rudder's neutral, squeeze the brake in and press this little knob in, and that locks the handle back. Our control column, same as the NF2 effectively here. We have the brakes, we have the machine guns, we have the cannons, we have the gun camera, cine camera, and this one has a bomb release, being a fighter bomber. So we have our second button here for bomb release. That's the quadrant. As we don't have on the NF2, this one has bomb doors. So this is your hydraulic control for bomb doors up and down, open and closed. Your landing gear lever with its safety lock, you lift that up to get the landing gear up and down for down. And the flap lever here with its safety catch. So that's all your hydraulic controls.
The blue and black dial is your camera gun feet of film used indicator.
And we have our pump here for the glycol windscreen washer, effectively clears the windscreen should it ice up. Starter buttons and boost coils, magnetos, prop feather controls. If you've seen the Mosquito NF2 video, there's the box here, the radar box, and these are on a extension so you can open those up and so on. So this is the normal position. G indicator, so you can track your radio bearings. And a new one to fighter bomber, we have our bomb arming panel. So master switch comes on, arm each station. So we've got the wing tanks or wing bombs or rockets, the fuse of the bombs, position 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then arm or safe, nose and tail. So you'd switch on the selection, which one would you like to drop, and you'd arm it. If you want all 4 at the same time, pickle the button, they'd all go. If you select that one only that one goes. I'll close that back up. And the other side is exactly the same as the NF2. We've got our electrical services along here, that's lights and gun cameras and fire extinguishers. The detonator for the IFF control, we don't want that getting into enemy hands. Same fuel tank selections here, so we've got fuels in gallons for the wings, the fuselage, inboard and outboard wings and the fuselage. Drop tanks are not readable, so if you have drop tanks fitted, you just feed them into the fuel system and then read off the gauges when that starts using the main fuel. Downward identification light here, and then the navigator's equipment not in place, but he has a little pull-out table with his flight computers and so on. I'm joined by Steve in here, so when I look around from the gun sight, which is slightly off centre from the pilot, there's my line of sight for flying, and slightly cocked over if I want to shoot something, leaning slightly into the gun sight, my rudder trim, and my radiator shutter controls. So swing around, my Navigator sat in his seat. So he's slightly offset from the pilot. He sits on the main spar of the aeroplane, and between us the fuel control panel, port and starboard, inboard and outboard valves, and the cut-offs will be there as well as the tank pressurization system. To Steve's left, very hard for me to get here, we have the G apparatus. So G is our radio navigation. This aeroplane will be capable of blind bombing and navigating by the G system, which we'll go into in another video. And then over his shoulder, behind the armour plate, which is now laying down, we have the various radio receivers and electrics that the Navigator will be in charge of. So effectively, radio man, navigator and flight engineer sat in the right-hand seat. Above our heads, we have the emergency escape panel. Not particularly good for bailing out, but very good if you end up ditching, and that pushes out this panel along the top. If you did elect to go out this way, the next thing behind us there, we have the tail of the aeroplane, which would hurt a little bit if that hit you. So your main exit on the aircraft is the main entrance as well in the FB.VI. Pull the red handle there to jettison the door and dive out behind the engine and underneath the wing. So we have the Mosquito FB.VI over our shoulder, and coming later, the prototype Mosquito. And behind us, the Mosquito. Can't quite get it in the camera. I believe that's a B-35 sat behind us, so more on that later.